First up, it's the leading vote getter and the host for this year's All-Star Game, Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark. This is Clark's first time being selected as a team captain, and she joins A'ja Wilson as the only players to be named captains their first 2 seasons in the league under this new format. Caitlin is on pace for her second season, averaging 18 points, 8 assists. No other player has done that even once.
Let's go.
And then out west, it's the Minnesota Lynx Nafisa Collier making her debut in captainship. But don't get it twisted, she knows this game well. Fee has been named an All-Star 5 out of the last 6 games. She's the 2024 Defensive Player of the Year and the favorite to win MVP according to ESPN Bet Sportsbook. But how about we check in on her GM skills? We're about to find out what those look like. It's just about that time. The captains are here. Fee, Caitlin, how are we feeling heading into your first draft as captains here?
Caitlin Clark received nearly 1.3 million All-Star votes, a number so massive it single-handedly surpassed the entire top 30 players from just 2 years prior. By every public metric, fans had crowned her the undisputed queen of the WNBA, but behind the scenes, a quiet, coordinated dismissal was taking place. In a private vote, her own peers, the women she competes against every night, told a shockingly different story. They ranked her as only the 9th best guard in the league. How can the most popular player in the history of the sport, a player shattering viewership and merchandise records, be seen as mediocre by the very people sharing the court with her? The truth reveals a bitter power struggle happening just beneath the surface of the WNBA, and in one masterful move during the All-Star Draft, Clark exposed it all and proved she was the one truly in control.
WNBA All-Star captains have been announced. Team Collier versus Team Clark, the top 2 vote getters when it comes to fan voting. Caitlin Clark, over 1.2 million fan votes. Nafisa Collier not too far behind with 1.1 million fan votes. Aaliyah Boston was close, less than 2,000 votes away from a Team Clark versus Team Boston All-Star Game experience. That would have been quite the entertainment, but instead, we get Team Clark versus Team Nafisa Collier.
That's Caitlin Clark. That's the Caitlin Clark phenomenon right there. That is a perfect example. The year before she showed up, all the way to what? Basically 13 times the amount of votes, because she almost got 1.3 million.
It all started with a number so staggering, it fundamentally broke the WNBA's entire framework for popularity. While recovering from a groin injury, away from the court and out of the spotlight, Caitlin Clark pulled in 1,93,026 All-Star votes. This wasn't just a new record, it was a complete demolition of everything that came before. To truly grasp the scale of this, you have to look at the past. In 2023, the combined votes for the top 30 All-Star players totaled just over 1.1 million. Clark by herself eclipsed that entire group of elite athletes from her couch. The leading vote getter in 2023, the formidable A'ja Wilson, secured an impressive 95,160 votes. Clark received over 13 times that amount. This was more than a vote, it was a fan-led revolution. Parents were getting their kids involved, social media exploded with a singular focus, and people who had never watched a women's basketball game were suddenly passionate participants. This tidal wave of support turned the WNBA into appointment television, validating the Fever versus everybody mentality not as a marketing slogan, but as a statistical reality. Her return from injury wasn't just a comeback, it was a coronation, as she discovered she was officially the most popular and influential player in WNBA history, and she decided it was time to use that power.
I feel good.
We're ready.
Ooh.
I'm excited to get it underway.
I'm ready. I'm excited. This is going to be a whole lot of fun here. I'm curious. Fee, can you just take me inside? I think Captain GM Fee has a nice ring to it. What's your strategy here as you're looking towards this draft?
It does have a nice ring to it. I like this position a lot. I feel like I got to try to get some of my Hootie Hoo Owl girls on here. I got to try to get some of my Husky girls on here. So I've got an agenda coming into today.
All right, we got a little bit of an agenda. What about you, Caitlin? What's your strategy here?
I'm going on vibes.
Ooh.
We're picking whatever comes to mind. We're just having fun. My team's going to be fun. That's all that matters. You get to be in front of the home crowd in Indianapolis, so that's right.
being in front of the home crowd is an important thing and could play maybe to your advantage here. We've done enough talking. It sounds like it is time that we get this draft underway. I've always wanted to say this.
Walking into the virtual All-Star draft as a first-time captain, Clark knew she had the undeniable mandate of over 1 million fans backing her every decision. Her first move was a calculated display of loyalty. With the first overall pick, she selected her Indiana Fever teammate, Aaliyah Boston. This wasn't just about picking a friend. It was a powerful statement. Boston was the cornerstone who had been there during the brutal, often humbling moments of Clark's rookie season. She was the anchor in the paint while Clark weathered the storm of criticism and physical play. By selecting her first, Clark was rewarding that partnership on the biggest stage, solidifying their on-court chemistry and sending a message about the importance of allegiance. But her very next major move proved she was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. With her fourth pick, she selected Aja Wilson, her biggest rival, the reigning MVP, and the very player whose team had dominated their on-court matchups. This was a cold-blooded strategic decision that stunned many. Clark effortlessly separated the heat of competition from the cold logic of respect, proving she was willing to team up with her fiercest adversary if it meant giving her team the best chance to win. It demonstrated a maturity and a killer instinct that went far beyond her years. But her most audacious move was yet to come, and it would change the rules of the game itself.
The first pick in the 2025 WNBA All-Star Draft, Team Clark selects.
I know this will be super surprising to everybody watching, but I'm going with my teammate, Aaliyah Boston, baby.
We're putting Aaliyah Boston
Welcome,
up on
baby.
the board here. Aaliyah Boston going here to Team Clark. Aaliyah has been on opposite teams with Nafisa Collier in each of her first 3 All-Star appearances. And that tradition, keeping it up this year as she's joining her teammate, Caitlin Clark. She's been an All-Star selection in each of her first 3 seasons in the league. She's the 9th player in league history to be an All-Star in each of their first 3 seasons. So you're getting some real talent that you know very well here, Caitlin, on your team. Now, Caitlin, we're going back to you here with the 4th pick in this draft.
All right, 4th pick. I'm going to take Asia.
Aja Wilson. I was wondering when we would see Aja of the
Stack
Aces
my team up.
going off of the board here. Aja Wilson headed to Team Clark here, 3-time All-Star captain. She did select Yuffie on her team in 2019 and has played with you 3 out of the 4 All-Star games. So it's going to be a little different again going head to head here with Aja Wilson, the 3rd straight season of her averaging 20 or more points and her 5th season overall. Of course, a certified baller.
Deep into the draft, with the picks proceeding as expected, Clark interrupted the broadcast with a statement that sent a jolt through the studio. "I don't know if this is in the rules," she began, a small smile playing on her lips, "and I don't really care." She then announced she was trading away her assigned All-Star coach, Cheryl Reeve. A stunned silence fell over the virtual broadcast. An All-Star coach had never, ever been traded in the history of the WNBA. The move was so unprecedented that ESPN producers were visibly scrambling, and the league itself had to grant special, on-the-spot permission to allow it. In that moment, Clark wasn't just a player, she was an architect. She orchestrated a swap for Sandy Brondello, the championship-winning coach of the New York Liberty, a coach known for an offensive system that would perfectly complement Clark's style. This wasn't just a simple personnel change. It was a breathtaking power play. Caitlin Clark was no longer just participating in the All-Star game. She was bending its structure to her will, remaking it in her own image, live on national television.
We have breaking
Let me
news
know.
here. I don't know that I've heard of a coach being traded in the All-Star game. This is something that you're agreeing to, Fee. There's no terms to this deal.
I agree with Cheryl. I agree with the trade. I love Cheryl. She's my coach here. And you know what? That's just going to be worse for Team Clark because now we got more chemistry on our side. We got more synergy. We know what we expect from each other. So that was a bad move on your part, Caitlin. We're taking you down.
I'd rather watch paint dry. I'd rather watch dirt just be moved around because Caitlin Clark's not on the team. If she's there, it's appointment TV. You people, whoever did this, honestly, hey, take your brain, put it in a museum and study it for how dumb you are.
But why trade Cheryl Reeve specifically? The answer lies in a bitter controversy that had rocked the basketball world just weeks earlier. Reeve was the head coach of the Team USA Olympic team, the very same team that had infamously snubbed Caitlin Clark, leaving the most popular and talked about player in the world off the roster destined for Paris. The official committee cited flimsy reasons like lack of experience and chemistry concerns, justifications that rang hollow to a public that had seen Clark single-handedly elevate the sport's profile to unprecedented heights. The outcry was enormous, with fans declaring they'd rather watch paint dry than a Team USA without its brightest star. While Reeve wasn't on the selection committee as the head coach, her influence was undeniable, and her public comments criticizing the media frenzy around Clark had not gone unnoticed. Clark clearly remembered the slight, so her move to ship Reeve off to coach the opposing All-Star team wasn't just a strategic swap, it was a quiet, brutal, and perfectly executed act of revenge. It was a public checkmate, replacing the coach who rejected her with a coach whose philosophy would unlock her game.
There's going to come a time when the CBA negotiations are going on, the owners are sitting across from the Players Association, the negotiators are in the room, they're trying to iron out things, and the owners all come together and they ask a question, they pose a question to the players, and the question's simple. Where's Caitlin Clark? Why isn't she here? And why isn't she sticking up for you ladies and advocating on your behalf? And when the Players Association, when the people in that room hear that question, they're going to be looking at each other, confused, lost, and without an answer that doesn't make them look incredibly foolish. Everybody is talking about are the player rankings when it comes to the All-Star ballot. They put Caitlin Clark number 9 as far as the guards go for the WNBA. Not number 2 behind, I don't know who would possibly be ahead of her. Not number 3, not 4, not 5. Shout out to LeBron James. Not 1, not 2, not 3. They put her all the way at number 9. Caitlin Clark has to be getting a light bulb. Oh, they just don't like me, right? Once we get to the Natasha Cloud and Brittany Sykes, a light bulb has to go off. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, they just don't like me. I'm done publicly coming to your girl's defense. I'm done publicly using my cachet, using my fans, my fan base to come support you guys. We're done with that.
This masterful power play becomes even more profound when you understand the secret war being waged against her by her own peers. While millions of fans were breaking voting records, the WNBA players were sending a starkly different message in the shadows. The official player vote for the All-Star ballot ranked Caitlin Clark as the 9th best guard in the league. Let that sink in. The woman who just received 1.3 million fan votes was deemed not a top 5 talent by her colleagues. Players like Alicia Gray topped the list, Sabrina Ionescu came in second, and even players like Natasha Cloud and Brittany Sykes were ranked higher. This shocking disconnect reveals the deep-seated jealousy and bitter politics simmering just beneath the league's surface. Players see her getting all the attention, the massive endorsements, and the credit for the league's newfound success, and the resentment is palpable. This creates a bizarre disconnect where they are watching the same record-breaking performances but arriving at a completely different conclusion. It's a strategic blunder of epic proportions. Soon the Players Association will be negotiating a new CBA, and the owners will ask a simple question: where is Caitlin Clark? Why isn't the face of the league here advocating for you? And the players who ranked her 9th will have no answer that doesn't make them look incredibly foolish.
The WNBA All-Star Draft was fun between Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier, the team captains, picking the players, picking the rosters. But the most interesting aspect was the coach swap, because Clark traded Cheryl Reeve, who was the coach of her team, or was to be the coach of her team, to Collier for Sandy Brondello, the coach of the New York Liberty. Of course, Reeve is Collier's head coach for the Minnesota Lynx, so that makes sense. But the drama is going to come from Reeve having previously been critical on social media about the amount of attention Clark received relative to the rest of the league, not to mention being the coach of Team USA that Caitlin Clark was so famously snubbed from. Of course, Reeve wasn't a part of the official committee, but, some may believe she had some say in how all that went down. Regardless, the picking between the players was a lot of fun, and Caitlin Clark also wound up with all of the Fever members on her squad as well, meaning Aaliyah Boston, Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell will be a trio in Indianapolis for All-Star. Clark, Boston, Ionescu, Wilson, Sabali, Mitchell, Gabby Williams. I love Gabby Williams. What a player. Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriafen, Jackie Young, Thornton, Kayla Thornton from the Valkyries. So Clark should have a very fast team there. When you look at it, I mean, Williams is really fast for a forward. Obviously, Kelsey's very fast. Citron's very fast. Jackie Young's one of my favorite players. Iriafen, a rookie, can get up and down the floor. Ionescu can help spread the floor along with Kelsey and Clark so they can really shoot. Caitlin made sure to get some size. She actually passed up on Paige Beckers to take Sabali, and she took Asia Wilson with her third pick.
All of this tension, strategy, and resentment converged to set the stage for a monumental showdown in Indianapolis. The All-Star Game was no longer a friendly exhibition. It had been transformed into a battlefield for respect. The event was held on Clark's home court, Gainbridge Fieldhouse, which would be packed to the rafters with the very fans who had given her the record-breaking mandate. She had her loyal teammate Aaliyah Boston protecting the paint, her fierce rival Asia Wilson as her enforcer, and her hand-picked championship-level coach Sandy Brondello drawing up the plays. And standing on the opposing sideline, Cheryl Reeve, the coach who presided over her Olympic snub, now forced a game plan against the phenomenon she had dismissed. The narrative was perfectly scripted, the people's champion, underestimated and disrespected by her peers, ready to prove everyone wrong in her own house, on the biggest stage. Every three-pointer would be a statement, every no-look pass a rebuke to the doubters. Caitlin Clark's performance in the 2025 All-Star Draft proved she is no longer just a rookie sensation or a popular player. She has become the most powerful and intelligent force in the WNBA. The historic fan vote gave her a mandate, and the unprecedented coach trade showed she is not afraid to wield that power to get exactly what she wants, even if it means rewriting the rules of the game itself. This wasn't just about one weekend, it was about establishing a new hierarchy in the league, with her at the absolute pinnacle. She didn't just join the WNBA, she began a takeover. The question is no longer if she will continue to shatter barriers, but how she will use her unmatched influence to fundamentally reshape the future of the entire sport. The league thought they were getting a new star. Instead, they got a new boss. And she is just getting started.